When
Bismillahir-Rahmanir Rahim. Your Excellency, Dr. Abdullah Shouikh, the Secretary General of the Higher Education Council. Your Excellency, Mr. Simon Martin, the British Ambassador to Bahrain. Your Excellency, Mr. Samir bin Abdullah Nas, the Chairman of the Board of Directors. Professor Wahid Ahmed Al-Khaja, the Chairman of the Board of Trustees. On sustainable futures. Many of you have made a huge effort to join us today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for traveling long distances to be part of this distinctive conference, which shows how important our work is. And when we look around, we can see the smiles of everyone's faces. We are deeply appreciative and offer you the most grateful welcome. Our esteemed guest, prepare yourself to be challenged, excited, and inspired. And remember always, what you do today can improve all the tomorrows. Let's all welcome Professor Ghassan Hawad, the Conference Chair and President of Applied Science University, on stage to deliver his opening speech.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Your Excellency, Dr. Abdullah Shouikh, Secretary General of the Higher Education Council, representing the patron of the conference, His Excellency, Dr. Majid bin Ali Naimi, the Minister of Education in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, colleagues and friends, ladies and gentlemen, and our beloved students. We have some of them here. Welcome to the International Conference on Sustainable Futures, ICSF 2017. And welcome to the Kingdom of Bahrain, the kingdom of coexistence, tolerance, and peace. This is the vision of His Majesty the King. Yesterday we had a reception, and I started receiving feedback from our colleagues and visitors from overseas who said, such a nice place. I said, you haven't met the Bahraini yet, the people are even nicer. Now, the context for the conference, we are all aware of the importance of the topic, sustainable futures. We're talking about the global warming, about finding different sources of energy, solar energy, and so on, green buildings and infrastructure, the importance of creating a friendly environment, carbon emissions, the problem we are facing, and some technological advances. Technologies are changing the way we live and survive, in fact. In Bahrain, we are very fortunate that we have our national research strategy. I'm sure the Secretary General will talk more about it, and my colleagues, Dr. Muna and Dr. Farzana. But it's such an important strategy for the national economy of Bahrain. When you have a clear national research strategy, then you can drive research in the kingdom. And we are very fortunate to have a strategy of the highest quality. Of course, economic vision 2030, once again, the vision of His Majesty the Queen, the King. And you can see the guiding principles are sustainability, fairness, and competitiveness. I'll be talking about competitiveness a little bit later on. Now, in driving the agenda for sustainable futures, we need to work together as government, industry, universities, and civil society to find solutions to protect our environment. Of course, the Ministry of Education, the HEC, the BQA, Ministry of Works, different bodies in Bahrain are really important in working together with the private and public sector to drive the agenda. And collaboration with international partners. We are very fortunate to run this conference. with our colleagues from London South Bank University. We have the president, we have the co-chair, Professor Charles Egbo as well with us. And it's so important to do joint research between nations and institutions to drive the research agenda for an important subject like sustainable future. Now, when you look at technological advances, drone technologies will become the norm in the future to record data which could help our environment. Look at 3D printing. In the future, we will be able to print our buildings and our infrastructure using materials which are not harmful to the environment. We're talking about solar highways, smart highways to save energy. Building information modeling is such an important area as well. There are plenty of papers today about building information modeling, and would love to listen to some of them. Now, our research strategy in the university is built around 6 themes: sustainable development, future IT, economic growth, teaching and learning. And we do our research through cross-cutting activities between colleges. We have 4 colleges, and sustainable development and future IT, important areas of research for us. Now, some statistics for us. We have received 120 abstracts for this conference. This is a peer-reviewed conference, blind review in fact. We have 65 papers in the proceedings, which you have just started receiving it, state-of-the-art proceedings with ISBA number. We have 5 keynote speakers, 1 guest speaker, and 1 panel discussion in the afternoon. And we have the proceedings, which is the product of this conference, and I'm delighted to announce that this proceeding is dedicated to Professor Wahib Al-Khaja for his vision and tireless efforts to transform the university. This is the proceedings we have dedicated to you, Professor Wahib. Now, we are lucky, we have 20 nations represented in the Kingdom of Bahrain, and we are absolutely delighted to welcome all of you. I want to share with you some statistics very, very quickly, in fact. This data, I got it from the competitiveness report of the World Economic Forum. I know you may see the text small. I could do nothing about it because we have created a database in the university to store all the information about competitiveness over the last 5 years and to compare nations in the Arab world in particular and see where Bahrain is standing. So this is based on ranking of 140 nations. If we take higher education and training, the higher the number, the worse. So if you are 39 for Bahrain for higher education, it's better than being 51. But you can see the trends. Bahrain has been improving over the last 5 years from 51 to 39. I cannot see even properly on my machine here. But you can see the trend. Bahrain is doing really, really well in terms of higher education and training. If you look at quality of management schools, it has improved immensely from 85 to 34 over 5 years. If you look at quality of maths and science education, once again, Bahrain used to be 77 in the world, and now it's 31. Massive, massive improvement over the last 5 years. Quality of the education system, it has gone down from 48 to 24. Once again, a big improvement for the Kingdom of Bahrain in terms of the quality of the educational system. And innovation, once again, the trend is upwards. We are doing really well as a nation. Company spending on research and development has improved immensely over the last 5 years. Innovation as patents application has improved as well. The quality of scientific research institutions, we used to be 114 and now we are 73. Big improvement in comparison to other nations as well. And university-industry collaboration, research and development, you can see the figures. We used to be 121 and Bahrain is ranked now 45. So this data is based on real data generated from the competitiveness report. It's not my view, it's not my emotions. I'm not talking about Bahrain because I love Bahrain. I'm talking about figures and facts presented by a respectful body through the World Economic Forum reports. The data has been generated by my colleagues, Rifat and Shadia, and many thanks to them. It's a database-driven environment, so we can do any manipulation or any query, we can run it, we can see the trends for the kingdom, and we compare it with other nations. Technological readiness, once again, we have improved. And this concludes my presentation. Please enjoy the conference, and I wish you a very pleasant stay in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Professor Bassam. And now, let's all welcome Dr. Abdelghani Shaweikh, the Secretary General of the Higher Education Council, on stage for his speech.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أسعد الله صباحكم جميعا. سعادة السيد سايمون مارتن سفير المملكة المتحدة، سعادة الأخ سمير عبد الله ناس، سعادة الأخ الدكتور وهيب الخاجة رئيس مجلس أمناء جامعة العلوم التطبيقية، سعادة الأستاذ الدكتور غسان فؤاد عواد رئيس جامعة العلوم التطبيقية، الأخوة والأخوات أعضاء الهيئتين الأكاديمية والإدارية، الحضور الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. في البداية يسعدني أن أنقل إليكم جميعا تحيات وتقدير سعادة الدكتور ماجد بن علي النعيمي وزير التربية والتعليم رئيس مجلس التعليم العالي، شاكرا ومقدرا لجميع الشركاء في تنظيم هذا المؤتمر الهام والحيوي جهودهم وعنايتهم وحرصهم على حسن التنظيم وجدية المحتوى وتنوعه، وبخاصة الأصدقاء من جامعة ساوث بنك الذين يطلعون في هذا المؤتمر بدور بارز ومميز بالتعاون مع جامعة العلوم التطبيقية التي تسعى باستمرار للتفاعل الإيجابي مع الموضوعات ذات الصلة بتفعيل دور التعليم العالي في تحقيق التنمية الشاملة لمستقبل مستدام لوطننا العزيز في ظل قيادته الحكيمة، مؤكدا اهتمام الأمانة العامة لمجلس التعليم العالي بتطوير مسيرة التعليم العالي باعتباره ركيزة تقدمنا نحو مستقبل مشرق بإذن الله تعالى. أصحاب السعادة الحضور الكريم، إذا كان مفهوم التنمية المستدامة يدور في الغالب الأعم حول زيادة الإنتاج وخلق الثروة التي تؤمن الرفاه للبلدان، فإن العنصر الأهم في هذه المسألة هو تطوير مهارات الإنسان للمساهمة في هذه العملية. إن هذه العناصر جميعها ترتبط بالإنسان بالدرجة الأولى، مما يعظم من دور ووظيفة التعليم عامة والتعليم العالي خاصة في مجال بناء الإنسان من خلال بناء القدرات الوطنية تعليما وتدريبا وإكسابا لمهارات القرن الحادي والعشرين، حيث أصبح العالم كافة بمنظماته الدولية ووكالاته الأممية المختصة تؤكد على مفهوم التنمية المستدامة كمفهوم اقتصادي اجتماعي يعنى بتطوير وسائل الإنتاج بطرق لا تؤدي إلى استنزاف الموارد البيئية أو تدميرها لضمان استمرار الإنتاج للأجيال القادمة بما يلبي احتياجات المجتمعات وما يتطلبه كل ذلك من معرفة وتقنيات متطورة وخبرات متنامية ومهارات عالية وبحث علمي مستمر ووعي إنساني وفكري وأخلاقي، وهي كما ترون في صلب الدور الحيوي والتنموي لمؤسسات التعليم العالي، حيث يقع على عاتقها وجميع العاملين فيها مهمة إعداد الأجيال الجديدة لمواجهة التحديات الكبرى، وذلك لأن التربية في حسابات الدول المعاصرة عملية ارتقائية لتجديد الذات الثقافية والاجتماعية والعلمية والتنموية للدولة والمجتمع، وتحصينها ضد كل عوامل الوهن المعطل لحيوية الأمم والشعوب، حيث أدركت القوى العظمى في عالمنا المعاصر هذه الحقيقة ونظرت إلى التعليم من حيث هو خط الدفاع الخفي لوجود الأمم والشعوب وتطورها ونماؤها. والتاريخ المعاصر يعطينا من الشواهد على صدق هذا الإدراك، ولعل هذا الأمر هو الذي جعل مملكة البحرين ومنذ سنوات عديدة تعي تمام الوعي أهمية الإعداد والاستعداد لهذا المستقبل ومواجهة تحدياته الكبرى، سواء من خلال ما جاء به المشروع الإصلاحي لجلالة الملك المفدى حفظه الله ورعاه من قيم وثوابت ورؤى تتركز حول تنمية الإنسان البحريني باعتباره عماد التنمية وهدفها النهائي، ومن خلال ما جاءت به رؤية البحرين الاقتصادية 2030 من قيم وخطط وأفكار حيوية تجديدية تجعل التنمية المستدامة عنوانا وهدفا، والاستدامة أحد المبادئ التي تحقق طموحاتنا لضمان التوازن المطلوب في الحاضر والمستقبل بين تلبية احتياجات المجتمع والمحافظة على توازنه البيئي والاقتصادي، إضافة إلى جعل المواطن البحريني الخيار الأول في سوق العمل. وهذا لا يتحقق إلا من خلال تعليم عال يمتلك الرؤية والاستراتيجيات الكبرى لمواجهة هذه التحديات النوعية من خلال تنمية رأس المال البشري. والتعليم والتدريب يأتيان في مقدمة المحركات الرئيسية في هذا المجال، وعلى الأخص في مجالات العلوم التطبيقية وتشجيع الريادة والابتكار لتأمين الاستدامة لقطاع خاص مزدهر. ولذلك نجزم بأن التعليم العالي بوجه خاص هو حجر الأساس وهو محور التنمية، وأن نجاح أي عملية تنموية يعتمد على نجاح هذا القطاع الحيوي في تحقيق تنمية مستدامة شاملة تنهض بالفرد والمجتمع. الأخوة والأخوات، تأتي الاستراتيجية الوطنية للتعليم العالي 2014-2024 التي سبق لقطاع التعليم العالي تدشينها في العام 2014 ترجمة عملية لهذا الوعي من خلال صياغة مشروع وطني لتطوير التعليم العالي بما يتوافق مع رؤية البحرين 2030 وربط هذا القطاع مع التكنولوجيا والريادة والإبداع بما يخدم تلك الرؤية ويقدم لها أفكارا ريادية متجددة، وهو ما أكد عليه الهدف الرئيس للاستراتيجية الوطنية للبحث العلمي 2014-2024. كما أن الارتقاء بقطاع التعليم العالي والبحث العلمي من أجل تحقيق التنمية المستدامة يساعد المجتمعات على التصدي للعديد من الأولويات والمشكلات مثل قضايا الماء والطاقة وتغير المناخ والتخفيف من آثار الكوارث وأخطارها والحفاظ على التنوع البيولوجي وحل أزمات الغذاء ومواجهة المخاطر والتحديات المختلفة، وهو أساس لتنمية فكر اقتصادي جديد. كما إنه يسمو عن طريق مقاربة منهجية تساعد على التكيف والاستدامة بالتجديد المستمر للنظم التعليمية والتدريبية وبرامجها وتعزيز البحث العلمي وجعله في صلب عملية التنمية. ولذلك قام مجلس التعليم العالي في مملكة البحرين وأمانته العامة ومنذ العام 2015 بتدشين استراتيجية وطنية للبحث العلمي بالتعاون مع مختلف الشركاء في المملكة، وذلك من أجل تعظيم شأن البحث ودفع الجامعات إلى أفق البحث باعتباره جزءا من مهماته الرئيسية وليس فقط منح الشهادات. إن خريجي التعليم العالي هم قيادات المستقبل وصناع القرار في سائر قطاعات الدولة، وكي يتطور المجتمع ويتقدم نحو مجتمع مستدام من خلال الاستخدام الأمثل للموارد البشرية والمادية والتكنولوجية والأخلاقية، يجب أن يتطور قطاع التعليم العالي من خلال التعليم والتعلم والبحث العلمي والابتكار، ويستجيب للاحتياجات الحالية والمستقبلية، ويضمن الجاهزية لمواجهة التحديات المتمثلة في رفع مهارات الطلبة وبناء قدراتهم وتحسين المخرجات من خلال المناهج وطرق التعليم المبتكرة بالتزامن مع إيجاد بيئة ريادية للجميع. لقد أصبح للتعليم العالي والبحث العلمي في مملكة البحرين أثر بارز في تشكيل حياة المجتمع البحريني واقتصاداتها، خاصة مع تنامي مفهوم اقتصاد المعرفة ومجتمع المعرفة وتزايد متطلبات واحتياجات التنمية، حيث تؤكد الوقائع جميعها أن تقدم الأمم ورقيها ونمائها أصبح يعتمد باستمرار على مدى تقدمها العلمي والتكنولوجي والمعلوماتي. ولا شك أن التعليم العالي في مملكة البحرين هو اليوم في مقدمة مقومات هذا التقدم المنشود. وختاما أجدد شكري وتقديري للجميع، وأخص الذين أسهموا في الإعداد والتنظيم لهذا المؤتمر المتميز. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Professor Wahid Ahmed Al-Khaja, the Chairman of the Board of Trustees, is welcomed on stage for his welcoming speech.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Your Excellency, Dr. Abdul Ghani Al-Shuwaykh, Secretary General of the Higher Education Council, representing the patron of the conference, Dr. Majid bin Ali Al-Naimi, Minister of Education. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, colleagues and friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and a very warm welcome. As a chairman of the Board of Trustees of Applied Science University, it gives me a great pleasure to welcome our distinguished guests, scholars, researchers, and practitioners who have come all the way to Bahrain from as far as Australia, United Kingdom, Ireland, Italy, and Turkey, and other countries. This topical conference organized by Applied Science University in association with London South Bank University, with great support from the Chartered Institute of Building, the Association of Arab Universities, and the Higher Education Academy in the United Kingdom, and other sponsors, covers important topics related to our global and future sustainability. It is pleasing to see the Chief of the Executive of the Chartered Institute of Building, Mr. Chris Braith, amongst our distinguished guests. I would like to thank Her Excellency, the Minister of Education in Bahrain, Dr. Majid bin Ali Al-Naimi, for his continuous support and for the patronage of the conference. Our ministry, the Higher Education Council, and the Bahrain Quality Assurance Authority are doing a great job in transforming education in the higher education in the United Kingdom, in Bahrain, in Kingdom of Bahrain. And we are all committed to their vision and the state-of-art guiding strategies. This conference will undoubtedly contribute to His Majesty the King Visions 2030 to make the Kingdom of Bahrain a truly international national hub. The wise leadership of our kingdom is enabling us to generate knowledge and conduct research that is relevant to our society and communities. Applied Science University has signed a strategic partnership with London South Bank University, and we launched the College of Engineering last September, and we are jointly organizing this conference, and soon we will be announcing a joint venture to support research, innovation, and enterprise. It is pleasing to see Professor David Phoenix, Vice Chancellor and President of London South Bank University, and many colleagues from LSBU attending this conference. We have also signed a memorandum of collaboration with Cardiff Met University, and we launched 2 programs in management and business studies and accounting finance last September. Building a sustainable future is an important priority for many universities in the Kingdom of Bahrain and beyond. The future leaders of tomorrow need to preach what they learn about sustainability, and undoubtedly universities can play a major role in producing these future leaders. It is important to address the issue of sustainability by covering the three pillars of environment, technology, and economics. Applied Science University in Bahrain, and since its establishment, has operated to be environmentally friendly with sustainable buildings and campus context, particularly in terms of the efficient use of energy and resources, especially the use of wastewater. I would like to conclude by once again thanking His Excellency Dr. Majid bin Ali al-Naimi for his patronage, and I wish you a successful conference and a pleasant stay in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Thank you very much.
His Excellency, Mr. Simon Martin, the British Ambassador to Bahrain, will deliver a speech about the joint collaboration with British universities. Please welcome him.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I really must start, I'm sorry to be a bit selective, but just to say thank you so much to our hosts from the Applied Sciences University in collaboration with LSBU, particularly Professor Ghassan, Professor Wahib, His Excellency Samir Nas, and Professor Phoenix, but all of your colleagues for bringing together what I can see is really a spectacular step forward in the collaboration between British and Bahraini universities, which I've been asked to touch on in this talk this morning. And my thanks in particular to Dr. Abdul Ghanim Al-Shuwaik, the Secretary General of the Higher Education Council, because in this context of British-Bahraini collaboration in the higher education sector, I really cannot underestimate the importance of the relationship that we have with the Minister of Education, Dr. Al-Nuaimi and his team, and the Higher Education Council that operates so effectively under that ministry. As Ambassador, I've come to realize that protectionism of a country's higher education sector is not an unusual thing. Not all governments have the vision to realize that higher education is not a zero-sum game, and that by enriching the domestic sector with quality, ideas, and enthusiasm from outside, you can grow it to the advantage of everyone. So thank you, Your Excellency, and please pass on my thanks to your Minister for all that you do to encourage and assist this collaboration. And I believe this is to the benefit of all in both our countries, and I'll return to that point very briefly later, if I may. But it's wonderful for me as British Ambassador to see such a large representation of UK universities and other educational institutions here today. I note that 22 of the 61 members of the conference's scientific committee are actually from the UK, but perhaps it's even more startling to see the diversity of institutional representation. I've counted no fewer than 15 British universities involved in this conference. And to me, this is a matter of great pride, representing the scale of the involvement of Britain in Bahrain's education sector. This is a historical factor which I'm glad to say we're taking forward into new levels. For example, the UK remains the destination of choice for so many young Bahrainis wishing to study abroad. completing undergraduate and master's studies and even PhDs. And it's a statistic, and I'm sure some of you have heard me use it before. Please forgive me for saying it again. But at any time, 1 in 500 of every Bahraini citizen is studying at a UK university at any one time. That would be the equivalent of 60,000 British people all studying in one overseas country. It is extraordinary, and it gives us such a wonderful basis of understanding and collaboration. And that's why I'm so happy to see us moving forward in this conference, which is taking place over the next 2 days. But I'm glad to say also that it's neither my aspiration as ambassador, or much importantly, that of many of our UK universities, that we should stop there. As the professor has just mentioned, London South Bank University and Cardiff Met are both working together with ASU to deliver new courses in engineering and business. Manchester Metropolitan have announced recently that they are also delivering courses here with the Royal University of Women. Bangor and Strathclyde have been working with the Bahrain Institute of Banking and Finance for many years to offer unique formulations in Islamic finance and accounting and MBA programs with spectacular results. Brunel offers distance learning PhDs, and Salford University, well, I don't want to steal your thunder, Salford, but we're looking forward to your entry in the market in a new and spectacular way. And these are just the universities that I know about. I'm sure and I'm confident we'll see many others coming too. So I look forward with confidence to the UK remaining the destination of choice. But this new trend will actually bring recognized international quality British education to a whole new segment of Bahraini students. And as British ambassador, I'm always keen to try to explain how this extraordinarily rich and historical relationship works to the benefit of all in both our countries. And I think this is a very, very important way to prove that. Now, in other ways and in other sectors, or other parts of the education sector, the UK is also involved. I'm very glad that Dr. Roy Blatchford, the Executive Director from the Office of the First Deputy Prime Minister, will be talking to us later on. And I look forward also to hearing Professor Charles Egbu, the Dean of the School of the Built Environment and Architecture at London South Bank University. It's wonderful to welcome Professor Charles back. But it's also worth mentioning, and as another example of the way our diverse relationship benefits both sides, is that in this area of the built environment, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales's Foundation for Building Community has been working now for some 4 years with the Ministry of Housing to develop new ways of master planning of new communities in a way which is increasingly sustainable, as well as developing healthy communities. And His Excellency Samir Abdullah Nas and I had the pleasure of accompanying His Royal Highness around the new Southern Newtown project, which His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales's foundation has been involved in master planning when he visited here this time last year. And on the other side, on the industry side, I'm absolutely delighted that the Chartered Institute of Building is now with us in Bahrain supporting this conference, and I look forward to hearing the head of the CIOB talking later on. This shows that it's not just about education, it's not just about research, it's about pulling together the different strands, and this is how I believe that we will see the UK and Bahrain continuing with this, on this course. Now, there was much talk in last week's Economic Diversity Forum here about the importance of investment in human capital. I'm glad to say this is an area where the UK and Bahrain are, in policy terms, very closely aligned. But just before I finish, I just wanted to reflect on the fact that there is a risk of thinking that sustainable development is just about economic efficiency or reducing subsidies or tackling climate change. It is about all of those things, and each of them in their own right can justify the focus of this conference. But there are wider economic and security issues that play on our region in particular, which make this issue so important. There have been some very interesting scientific studies already looking back at the origins of the terrible conflict that we witness every day in Syria. And it is extraordinary to see the coincidence of the start of the troubles in Syria with the effect of climate change impacting on the traditional agricultural sector of Syria and the move of people to urban centers. Nobody yet knows exactly, they can't say that they can put all of these things together and say this is a cause. But when you see the scale of impact climate change has had on that country and what we have seen afterwards, it shows you why it is so important to take the opportunities that we have here this week to try to mitigate some of the impacts of climate change. And one way of doing this, of course, is internationalization of research. There is a role, I believe a limited role for governments in this. The sector itself is the main driving force for collaboration. But we can, and we try, my government tries to encourage the collaboration between our scientific institutions. We have something called the Science and Innovation Network, which we run together with the British Council, whose director, Richard Roos, is here with us today. And I'm very glad to say that the University of Bahrain and Loughborough University have successfully bid for funding from this fund, and their collaboration will establish a permanent research Centre for Sustainable Energy and Water at the University of Bahrain, linked to the Centre for Renewable Energy Systems Technology at Loughborough University. Meanwhile, the University of Bahrain has also signed agreements with the universities of Oxford and Aston to conduct joint research on linking desalination plants using reverse osmosis technology via renewable energy systems. And this, if I may say, inshallah, is just the tip of the iceberg. His Excellency mentioned the importance of STEM, science, technology, engineering and maths. I'm glad to say that with the inspiration of the British Council and the support of BAE Systems, we've been bringing experts in to encourage the appetite for such technological subjects among secondary school students in order to inspire their choices when it comes to higher education. And sometimes it takes a bit of innovation, and last year we managed to bring in a World War II Spitfire, which was then the focus of the STEM seminars, which taught not only the 14 and 15-year-old children who came to those seminars, but also me a great deal about aerodynamic theory. We also, I'm very glad to say, will be hosting an event to celebrate women in science in Bahrain to coincide with Bahrain National Women's Day next week. So there are a number of different areas, and I hope that I will be able to stand here again in a year and 2 years' time to look at the ways in which our very vibrant collaboration continues in this sector. And that Britain will continue to deserve the accolade of being the partner of choice for Bahrain in this sector. And indeed, as we move out of the European Union into a new and global position, it is very much incumbent upon us to pursue this line and to take full advantage of this. So thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much to our hosts from Applied Sciences University and their colleagues from London South Bank. And I wish everyone a very successful conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. The importance of research and innovation will be our next presentation, delivered by Professor David Phoenix, the Vice-Chancellor of London South Bank University.
Your Excellencies, honoured guests, I'm delighted to be here today at this first conference that's been jointly organised between London South Bank and ASU. It's a fantastic achievement, and I think at the outset I'd just like to give thanks to the staff from both institutions. There's an incredible amount of work that goes into an event like this, and to have attracted this many delegates and created an event of this standing is a real testament to the work that's been achieved. So thank you all very much. I can't help but reflect back, and it doesn't seem like over 3 years ago now when I met Professor O'Heeb, and we talked about the potential of a collaboration between our two universities. And there was a real, I felt, coming together of minds about the benefits that could be created for both the UK and for Bahrain if we could develop a true partnership, a multi-touch partnership, not one that was just about shall we try and deliver courses, but one that was about trying to create a dynamic and innovative academic environment that built on expertise and culture in Bahrain and in the UK. And to do that, we were adamant that we needed to not just focus on the teaching, but to create that environment we also had to look at the research and the innovation and how we could bring that to bear here at ASU through that partnership. That time in some ways has gone very quickly, and in some ways has been a challenging time to actually see how we can move forward and overcome the barriers in creating this concept. But progress is being made. The College of Engineering we've now put in place, and it's recruiting its first students, or has recruited its first students. We've developed programs around law, which were especially interesting because it gave the opportunity for staff from both institutions to come together and see how the knowledge of both countries could create quite a new and dynamic program looking at global law and the impact of law across different jurisdictions for the future. So the teaching development is well underway and continues to grow. This conference is part of that journey now in developing the research aspect. And I'll say a little bit later as well about the innovation aspect. But why at the outset was I so keen that when we talked about the development that it had to include research and innovation? Well, I suppose first I should perhaps define what I mean by research and innovation. And I apologise if this is overly simplistic. If we have people in the audience that are scholars researching innovation, there are so many definitions, I'm afraid I'm just going to use my own definition for the purpose of today. But to me, research and innovation is a spectrum. At one end, you have research which, if you look at the definition, is around seeking out. It's about creation of knowledge. And that can be blue skies knowledge, it can be very theoretical knowledge, or it could be knowledge about how to adapt and transform process. And then at the other end of the spectrum, you have innovation, which in my mind is around taking that new knowledge and using it to create new products or enhanced processes to the benefit of society and people. So my own research has always tended to fluctuate along that spectrum. Some of the work I do in terms of biophysics is very theoretical. In fact, my wife tells me it's so esoteric she's surprised I can find anybody else to speak to about it. But other aspects of what I do is very applied. It's about looking at new approaches to healthcare and the way we apply new drug design. And I don't see any one part of that spectrum either better or worse than any other part. It's simply different. And one of the things that differentiates universities is how they mix that combination of research and innovation with their teaching to create the academic environment that's distinctive to them. Now, at London South Bank, the university was first created 125 years ago. It was driven, in terms of its formation, by the Archbishop of Canterbury and the Prince of Wales at the time, to create an institute in London that really served to help individuals reach the potential, and to do so by giving them the skills that local business needed so that business could prosper. And that's still the ethos we've got today. But what that ethos means is that alongside the teaching, we need to be somewhere in the middle of that spectrum of research and innovation. We need to be creating ideas, but we need to be looking at how they can be applied to the needs of business, professions and society. And it's that mix of teaching, research and innovation that gives us our distinctive ethos. So for that reason alone, in terms of reputation and differentiation, it's essential to have research and innovation as part of any higher education system. And you won't find any world-leading university that doesn't have a mix of those components alongside the teaching. But if you break it down further, it's of vital importance to the students. Because if the teaching's over here and research innovation is over there, you haven't created a really dynamic academic environment. You've created silos. In a true academic environment, the innovation and approach and the research and knowledge feeds into the teaching, and the students become part of that environment. And through that, they take away not just the knowledge and the technical skills, but they take away the skills of creativity, of critical thinking, of ability to innovate, to know how to take risks and teamwork that's so sought after by employers, business and professions. And indeed, I believe that's one of the reasons why, in terms of success, if you look at the university, since we've really been pushing that over recent years, we're now 12th in the country in terms of graduate starting salaries. The Economist recently analysed the data from the tax office from the UK and listed us as 30th in the country in terms of value add to students. In other words, if you looked at the salary you would expect a graduate to get and what they got, we add a lot more to that than many other institutions. And the Times recently selected us last month, in fact, as University of the Year for graduate employment. Those accolades are dependent on the research and innovation running alongside the teaching. So from a student perspective, it's essential that that's embedded within the institution. Research and innovation, though, is also vital for staff. In higher education, it's what gives staff the authority to teach. It's what differentiates those staff from teachers within schools. The accolades that we're starting to attract because of the impact of our research and innovation means that we're not just attracting highly prestigious fellows such as Fulbright fellows now from the US, but we're starting to attract industry-sponsored chairs. So last month I just signed an agreement for £1 million investment in a chair focused on management and innovation. We've just worked actually with a professional body to sign an agreement for funding of a chair looking at health and safety within the work environment. And the standard and standing of the work we're doing is what's attracting people of that calibre and providing them with that authority, not just to teach with the students, but to engage with industry. And then finally, of course, from a university perspective, there's the benefits that that differentiation in research and innovation give through finance. Our work with business means we now have over 700 small and medium enterprises working with the university on site, and about 70 student startups. That gives an annual turnover of nearly £90 million a year. It also gives us the ability to work with other employers to develop new research programs. We opened a recent innovation centre looking at new polymer science with industry, how you can actually develop robotics with industry to create new approaches to development. In the first year, that attracted over €10 million in terms of support. So the power of research and innovation from a university perspective is only achieved when you look at it holistically and you balance the research, the innovation and the teaching, and you use it to engage not just with the staff and the students, but also with business. And when it's done correctly, it provides benefits to business. That's why the businesses engage, because it allows them to innovate to increase their profitability. And going back to the points that the President made at the start of this presentation, the impact of those skills and that innovation is what drives productivity then within the country and allows the country to develop, and in so doing to provide the services and support that its community and its citizens need. So research and innovation to me is essential, not just as the president of a university, but also in terms of what it delivers for a country and what it delivers for prosperity, not just through students, but for wider society. This link in Bahrain is very important. Bahrain is a country where we have a shared history, over 200 years of history and a regulatory environment that allows us to come together as two countries to work to the benefit for both our peoples. And through the development that we're trying to create through ASU and LSBU, we're not just looking at developing the teaching, but we're looking at using those shared cultural experiences and the regulatory understanding we have in the two countries to now develop the research and innovation. So based on this conference, we will move forward now with the creation of a research centre looking at issues of sustainability. A lot of work is going in from the teams to look at how we can develop that, so when it's launched, it will launch strongly. And just as importantly, we have undertaken significant work with colleagues to look at the legal framework where we can create a joint venture which will bring together business with the training and the consultancy that I've just been referring to, that will allow us to move forward in terms of innovation. So we are on track to meet that original vision when we met over the coffee, where we look at not just the teaching development, but we empower our staff and students through research, and we work to the benefits of our society, not just through teaching and research, but also innovation. So thank you very much.
Mr. Klesplith, the Chief Executive of Chartered Institute of Building, is called on stage to deliver his presentation on the role of professional bodies in supporting sustainable futures.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very great pleasure for me to be here on behalf of the Chartered Institute of Building, and a great pleasure to be supporting this fantastic event. And I echo the comments from Simon and around the tremendous efforts and congratulations needed to the staff of both universities in being able to put this event together and make it work. The Chartered Institute of Building has been around since 1834, but having a long and glorious past is just a footnote, really, because the accent is really on the future. And when we're talking about sustainable futures, what we've done in the past counts for nothing, really, because we are looking at the future. And I think that's the message, really, for all professional bodies, is how do we re-engineer ourselves to deal with the future. And I know from my experience of the Chartered Institute of Building, the organisation we have today is nothing like the organisation that was founded in 1834, I can assure you. And every generation, it goes through a change as it responds to what's required. When I'm called on to explain what professional bodies are, I have a very simple sort of note. And for me, the standard speech is professional bodies play an important role both in the industries and sectors they serve and in wider society. More often we go about our work without much fanfare, but our impact is felt across the globe. Professional bodies raise standards, promote professional values, and tackle uncomfortable truths. They are social enterprises for the public good. So what do I mean, and how does that relate to a sustainable future? Professional bodies, and particularly those with charters, such as mine, have as their core obligations the society they operate within. In mine, the CIOB actually says very little about members other than their descriptor. The focus is totally on public benefit, the benefit to society. So in discharging those responsibilities, the professions and their associated professional bodies have to be at the heart of ensuring a sustainable future, because that is where the public interest and public benefit lies. It's not negotiable. And this applies across all professions, from construction to law to finance to engineering to medicine. So you see that the various seemingly desperate professions have more in common than you might at first think. We are a practical link between academia and practice, between learning and the world of work. The professional bodies are well placed to drive the changes necessary, the conversion of knowledge into practice and vice versa. So what are some of those changes? Well, let's return to the phrase social enterprise for the public good. I think one of the most significant is the relationship between the professional and their client. And I think there is a need to look beyond the immediacy of the current task. Professionals need to have in mind the wider impact of their role. And this is where we sometimes have to face an uncomfortable truth. What is legal is not always right. And many of you will have come across such situations. A common feature we have in the construction industry is risk transfer. You know, our professionals are encouraging us to transfer risk, usually from the client down to the person least able to deal with it. And when it all goes wrong, the risk transfers all the way back up to where it should have been in the first place. And in some respects, it's a totally futile exercise. But it's legal, and there's practice, but it's not always right. Too often, the professions are seen as tools of the rich and powerful to become more rich and powerful. But a wider professional's duty needs to consider society at large. To achieve a sustainable future, the professions, led by their professional bodies, need to use the moral compass. A society deserves nothing less in return for the status and privileges it grants the professionals. And eventually, through using the moral compass, what is right and what is legal will converge. And there will be no ambiguities about what delivering a sustainable future means as far as the professionals are concerned. And thank you very much.
Here we are today, celebrating all together the opening of the International Conference on Sustainable Future. We would like to thank all the keynote speakers and strategic partners for their support and belief in this memorable conference. Professor Wahib Al-Khaja and Professor Ghassan Awad is called on stage to give a token of appreciation. His Excellency Dr. Abdel Ghani Shouikh, the Secretary General of the Higher Education Council. Mr. Simon Martin, the British Ambassador to Bahrain. Professor David Phoenix, the Vice Chancellor of London South Bank University. Mr. Chris Bleeth, the Chief Executive of Chartered Institute of Building. Professor Charles Egbo from London South Bank University. Professor Mustafa Shawi. Dr. Roy Blatchford. And Dr. Farzan Al-Maraghi. Many thanks as well for our strategic partners, London South Bank University.
Gold and silver. What else do you want?
Chartered Institute of Building. Higher Education Academy.
Thank you, William.
Association of Arab Universities.
They are not here.
No. NAS Group. Gulf Insider.
Is that one? Thank you so much.
GD Ads and Events. And finally, the Grove Hotel. Can have now group photo? Yeah, group photo, yes. Dr. Wright. Dr. Hassan, the Grove Bakery. Very the Grove Hotel. Muhammad. Dr. Hassan.
Thank you. Many thanks.
Thank you very much, all.
Please, excuse me, please. We have a coffee break now for 25 minutes. We start back at 10:45, please. We have two keynote speeches. One by Dr. Farzana from the Higher Education Council and one from Professor Charles from London South Bank University. So 10:45, please. ما راح يخلوها هلا. Excuse me, please. Shall we try?
Yes.
Can we try a group photo? Please, can we have a group photo, please?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Can we ask you, please, can you come to the stage to take a group photo before you leave, please? فتفضلوا please حتى ناخذ صورة جماعية.
شاكر. This will be the other side. اللابتوب؟ اللابتوب في الروم الثانية. وين دكتور غسان؟
They're thinking about getting something before sessions start.
لين شلون مرة؟